Greetings everybody! Today we are going to learn about Dragonplums. These are members of the Dracontomelon genus, which are in the mango family. There are estimated to be 8 species of this fruit, and today I'm going to be talking about 4 of them. At least I think I found 4 of them. In order to document all of these, I visited Fiji, Vanuatu, New Caledonia, Vietnam, and New York City. Greetings everybody, I am in Fiji. That is downtown Fiji over there. And I am joined by Stephen Murray. And Stephen, what do you have? You found this at where was this? At a botanical garden or something?
No, this was a Fijian village.
You found it in a Fijian village?
Yeah.
And this was just growing on one of their trees?
Yes. This is another member of the mango family. So it's related to something that in China is the smiling face nut.
It's called that because it looks like a smiley face?
On the nut itself, yeah. And this was the only one that was pretty close to being ripe, so I'm gonna bite off part of the half just to see.
Okay, so you can eat the rind of it.
It is not ripe at all.
No? Mm-mm. Okay. It's good to at least document this variety or species.
That cool seed.
That's interesting. It's not smiling.
Yeah, it's not smiling.
But it's not frowning either. But
Yeah.
it does it look similar to the smiling nut in a way?
A little bit.
It's alright. It's somewhere like between like a green apple and like a green bean, a little vegetal, a little leafy. So that's maybe not the best example of one, but it is a local variety, or local species, rather, here in Fiji. And we're gonna keep our eyes open because we're going to a bunch of islands, we might be able to find more. So earlier, Stephen mentioned that there is a Dracontomelon species called the smiling face nut, and this one is probably the most well-known out of all of the fruits in this genus, and that is because this has some commercial level of production in China and in Vietnam. Now, recently, I actually went to Vietnam. I hosted a tour there, and when I was there, I tried to find this fruit. Unfortunately, I couldn't find it fresh, but I did find it dry, and this is one of the popular preparations of this fruit. It has been prepared with salt, sugar, and chili. Sounds good. One interesting thing about this is the name. The name on this box says Sao Bao Tu, and that literally translates to crocodile stomach. The English on this box says sweet and sour baby Dracontomelon. So here's what I think this means. Crocodile fruit is a name that is given to Dracontomelon in Vietnam, and stomach is referring to the baby part of it, and the baby part of it means that this is probably unripe. Like the ones that I had in Fiji, however, they've been prepared. Surprisingly juicy for a dried fruit. This tastes very similar to tamarind candy. And if you haven't had tamarind, a more relatable flavor that this has is like dry, spicy green apple. Not like an apple juice taste, more like an apple cider taste. And with also that little bit of saltiness, a little bit of chili. It's actually really, really nice. And the fact that this is kind of juicy is pretty appealing as well. But the big question is, does it look like it's smiling? Kinda. It kind of looks like Jack Skellington to me. If I use my imagination, I can see 2 big eyes, and it's kind of like a jagged little smile on it. So I would call this the Nightmare Before Christmas fruit, but that's just me. So I've had one species unripe, another species dried. I think it's time to try one of these that is properly ripened. So let's move on to the next stop, Vanuatu. In Vanuatu, dragon plums are very, very popular, but it is a different species. Although this is the most well-known species, like worldwide, in Vanuatu, I don't believe you can actually find this. They have their own species.
We are in Luganville on the Santo Island in Vanuatu. This is an area where there are species of this fruit that only exist here.
Yeah.
And so far we have found 3. There are 80 species?
I did more research on it.
Okay.
So originally they thought there were 40 species, and they've redone the cladistics of the group, and now they've brought it down to 8 species.
So there are only 8 species of this, and potentially we have 3 out of the 8?
Yeah.
Because you think all 3 of these are different species.
Different species or varieties. They look very different.
Yeah. Like this one here, I'd say looks a little bit like an ambarella fruit.
Yeah.
And ambarella fruits are related to these.
Yeah.
But they're the same family, different genus.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so let's start with this yellow one. These yellow ones in particular were at all the markets, all the vendors had them, like tons of vendors had them. I've never heard of this before.
Yeah.
And that's really cool to see.
What is this called? Nangatambo.
Nangatambo. Okay. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce it.
So let's first take a good close look at it. It's kind of oblate, but there's like little points on the bottom here, and on the front there's just this one little stem. All right, let's go. You eat the skin?
I think so.
Let's try the skin.
The new.
It's not super sweet, like 2 or 3. There's maybe like a little bit of tartness to it.
Yeah.
Also, not a lot. Like
Yeah.
also like 1 or 2, maybe. And
It tastes like something. I don't. It's kind of pear-like, I guess.
pear-like. I was gonna say apple. It's kind of like floral in a way, the way that like quince is.
Yeah.
You know, if you eat quince, it's fairly mild, but kind of gets you in the nose a little bit, like something kind of aromatic about it, but perfumey. They are in the same family as things like mangoes and ambarellas and things like that. I'm not getting so much of that. I'm getting more of an apple-y, more of a loquat, more of a quince. But it's good.
Yeah. People really like this here. It's the most popular fruit in the market by far.
And what I like about this is something that they're selling these by the bagful. I could eat a bag of these. You know, they're mild. There's something kind of satisfying. Just like pop these in your mouth. They're not like so super sweet or so super tart or something. You can like sate yourself eating these pretty easily. Okay, so you've got some of these fruits here. So this looks like it might be the yellow one that we had, but unripe.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, they're not ready to go. These are pretty hard, but you can see that it's got those little bumps at the bottom. Cool.
Its leaves also look a lot like the leaves of Ambarella, wee apple, sponias, so you can tell they're closely related.
Yeah, a little bit like mango leaves too.
Yeah. Mangoes don't have the palmate leaves. They would just have one leaf. This is in the same family as the sumacs. So this looks a lot like a sumac plant that you'd see in the U.S. So the sumac leaves are very similar.
Here's a little fruit stand on the side of the road. Nothing on the table. Well, these avocados are kind of cool looking, but not ready. Nothing on the table, but down here there is another Draconia. It looks a bit different than the one we had. These ones are green and a little bit bigger. So that's a find. For all the species nerds out there, here is what we just had. Here's what we're going to have next. You can see that it is similar looking, but larger. This one almost looks like a little green mandarin, and it's more ridgy. You can see it's got a little, we can see like these little lines on it, like a little star. That's kind of interesting, and it's got a flat bottom, also with those little points to it. And you think peeling it is the way to go?
Mm-hmm.
You don't know.
I don't know. Yeah,
We've got no information, guys. This is new, new to us. Let's try.
way sour. That's sour.
Ah, hard. Might be sold a little underripe.
It could also be that these ripen off the plants like tomatoes and things, and that people will sell them green and then they ripen at home. Maybe.
That makes a lot of sense. You know, when we bought this, the vendor didn't have it on the table. She had it underneath the table. So maybe she was ripening them.
It tastes very similar to wee apple amberella, if you've ever heard of that, which is kind of like green mango kind of flavor.
Green mango, green bean, very vegetal. No sourness to it, though. Not the one I have. Do you have sourness in yours?
This is very sour, yeah.
Yours is sour? Okay.
Yeah.
Mine's not.
Want a different one? We got a couple of this big one.
Yeah, this one's just like very mild and vegetal.
Yeah.
This one has more tartness to it.
Yeah.
Maybe like 4 out of 10. Not crazy tart, but more tart. It's very similar to a green amberella, and what people do with those is they put like salt and chili powder on it to give it a little bit more flavor. So it ends up being like a crunchy vehicle for condiments. And this would work for that. Or if people do cook it, that would work. You know, put some flavor into it somehow, soften it up a bit. But it also might just not be ripe enough. Yeah, you gotta excuse us, guys. We're going into territory that, you know, we can research, we can ask people, but there's, you know, we're still learning as we go. But for this one, yellow one's better.
A few days after filming this, we visited New Caledonia. There, our new friend Vincent showed us his collection of fruit trees. He had one tree that he couldn't identify, and he asked us if we knew what it was. It turned out that that tree was the same Dracontomelon species.
Okay. So we don't know what it is.
This is a Dragonplum species.
You think it's a Nakatambol?
Yeah, it's a Nakatambol.
It's a Nakatambol, okay.
Yeah, this is a
But they
Nakatambol.
never get yellow. Why? Because we have another Nakatambol, a smaller variety on the other side, but they get yellow.
Yes.
And when they ripe, they fall down, so we just have to pick them up on the ground.
Yep. Fairly sure.
Could tell from the seed.
The one lady had this under her table. So this is the same one that she had.
Yep. And we were not sure if those ones were ripe or not, because they were under the table. Maybe she was ripening them. This answers that question, because this is the tree, and we're told that they never get orange. So this is how you'd want to eat them. I like it. A little sour right now. There's a lot of flavors going on in my mouth. Don't really want this right now, but I think normally I would really like this.
Just like that, we helped him solve his mystery, and he solved ours.
So this one here, as you can see, is more elongated. Like these are very squat. This one is not. And which makes me wonder if this is actually an amberella fruit. You think it might be?
We'll see in a minute. They have these funny little dots on them, which makes me think it is, because it's still got the dots. It's got the the
Yeah,
5.
it's more pronounced on that.
Yeah.
But I've seen that before on amberellas.
Yeah. Might be an umbrella.
Amberellas can do that too.
No, it's not an umbrella.
It's not?
Nope. Umbrellas have hairy seeds.
Okay, show it.
So it's not an umbrella. And it is actually not this either. But it's
Something else.
Yeah, this is something else.
Okay. Alright, so we've got a mystery fruit, guys, on our hands. But maybe once we dig that seed out.
Yeah, we might get a better idea.
Yeah. Yeah, Steven is on like squirrel duty, like going through scraping the fruit off of off the seeds. So we've got a. We'll show you the seeds in a second.
That's
Quite different.
That is weird. That's sour. It tastes like a spondius. So spondius is the mombin, the ambarella, and then a couple other minor plum-like fruits from Mexico. And it does.
It's good though. That tastes like green apple, green mango. It's got a little bit of a creaminess to it, and the texture of it is a lot softer.
Yeah.
Like biting into that was biting into like a kind of like a firm pudding. But flavor not too different than the other ones, but definitely a different fruit. Okay, so that seed there does not look like the Draconia seed. Doesn't look like the Ambarella seed, because those are kind of fibrous. So we've got a spondius of some kind.
Yeah.
We don't know what. Might be something new.
Yeah, might
for
be
us.
something new. Yeah.
Okay, it's something else, guys.
Yeah.
Related.
Yeah.
Same family, but different genus.
Well, that is about it for the dragon plum. Just like that, I went from knowing very little about this genus of fruits to having had several different species from it. One of my favorite things about traveling in order to find new fruits is moments like this one, where you go into a market and you suddenly see something that you've never seen before and everybody has it. In some parts of the world, dragon plums are as common as apples are here where I live in the United States, and I think that is something to learn from. These fruits are much loved in Vietnam, New Caledonia, Fiji, Vanuatu. Now I know why that is. I certainly learned a lot tracking this down, and I hope you guys learned something too. And yeah, that's about it. See you all next time. Bye-bye. I would like to give a very big shout out to Smarter Every Day, Wootbot, JMac, and Bill T. They are mega patrons over on patreon.com. This is how I managed to keep this channel going, so it is a huge help. And to anyone watching who is interested in supporting the channel and in return getting some really cool rewards like early access to videos, exclusive content that you can only see if you are a member, and there's even a level where I will send you stuff in the mail, you gotta check it out. So just click the link in the description below to learn more.